I want to mention something pretty interesting. I went into this commentary on the Siege of Mandalore, of course, actually months ago with the video I posted back in November on the overindulgence of characters in your art, or just the overindulgence in your art in general. So, the Siege of Mandalore had been a common topic to talk about on my stream, and of course I talk about it on my live stream. But I really did not know. I did not know this until like 2 hours ago when I was checking the writers of all these episodes. If you've seen my video, you hear in my video I say writers. The writers made this decision, this poor decision, and all of that. But it's actually one writer. It's one writer, and it's Dave Filoni exclusively. Now, the interesting thing about that, I knew this intuitively. I knew he wrote, or he was definitely behind. He was definitely the biggest influence behind the Siege of Mandalore arc. But I kind of thought that he had other writers with him. There are other episodes where he is with maybe one or two other writers. And so he has written episodes before, but not on his own. All 7 seasons. Clone Wars, 7 seasons. And that last arc of the Clone Wars, that was all him. And he hadn't done nothing exclusively before. So I find that really interesting. And I'm not nitpicking, or I'm not dissecting, or overanalyzing. I don't think I'm overanalyzing the poor writing at all. But I'm not, conducting this analysis just because of Dave Filoni. This was a revelation after I have had all this commentary, all these notes that I've written down, talking about it on my stream and all that. And I just thought, guys, if you do have hope in Dave Filoni as a writer, not as a creative mind, I'm not saying that. George Lucas was a creative mind, but I don't know if writing was his forte. But if you hope that Dave Filoni can do very well in writing and produce very good art with his writing, at least in the context of Star Wars, you may have another think coming, because it's just a terribly written arc. And I think he should have stayed as a creative mind behind the project. He's a creator, or he has good ideas, but he doesn't know how to execute. It's fascinating how this terribly written arc is so beloved, it's so famous, but it's all the characters, including Ahsoka Tano, all the characters suffered they suffered by the hand of Dave Filoni's writing. I find it so interesting that I liked Ahsoka Tano with other writers. So Dave Filoni, that's his character. She is his creation. She is his child, and I like her so much better with other writers. I find that funny, and I kind of find that sad. I would hate to have people not like my characters that I love so much because of my writing. I'm not against her continuing, but her, as I've said many, many times on the stream, the direction of her journey and her character arc, I have so many good ideas of what to do for that character. And I didn't make her. I didn't create her. I would have made an amazing Ahsoka Tano. Dr. Y says, they could have easily had the whole Mandalore as a subplot unconnected to the movie characters. Dude, that's exactly right. I'm 110% in agreement with you there. Just have Ahsoka and the Death Watch try to take down Maul. Oh my gosh, you are just speaking my language right there. I have said this before on my stream. I know this. I am not against Ahsoka living, and I'm not against Ahsoka being in Mandalore. But what better way to make her more awesome than she was in season 7 than to be outnumbered? It's her, Bo-Katan, and Bo-Katan's men and women. And let's say they're constantly outnumbered, just to get to Maul, they have to go through obstacle after obstacle, and they have to work clandestine, and they have to be stealth-like, and they have to be secret, and then they have to she would have this would make her even cooler. No lightsabers. She would learn the ways of the Force without a weapon, and she could probably even take down Maul with the help of Death Watch, with the help of Bo-Katan, she probably could take down Maul without a weapon, because she would start learning how to adapt to the Force without being a Jedi, because she's not a Jedi. They had to. She should have been an active Force user in Mandalore, even with Darth Maul. Just not looking like a Jedi. I'm not a Jedi. Then why do you look like a Jedi? I'm sure I've said this like 40 times on my stream. If she is equal to Maul in power or greater than Maul in power, she would have not needed him to begin with when it came to releasing him and having him cause a distraction, having him be a diversion, because she would have found a way. She would have found a way to get past every single clone trooper, because she's so powerful. If she is as powerful as Maul, and we saw his Force being used on those troopers in the hallway, if she's as good as Maul or better, she could have used that own wonderful, glorious, amazing power against them, even without hurting them. Like a light side hallway scene, where clone troopers are incapacitated, like Batman. She could have been Batman with the Force. Dude, see, you just solved the problem right there. Ahsoka should have stolen a blaster instead of her stun. That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. She did not need to release Maul. Remember, I said in the video, she released Maul at the cost of Obi-Wan's life, her friend, at the cost of Bo-Katan's life and the lives of her people, another friend, and just in general, wherever he went, wherever he goes, wherever Maul goes, he's gonna unleash evil. So it's just not a morally good decision. She's not a hero for having done that. Ahsoka could have her own arc. She really should have had her own series outside the Clone Wars after she left the Jedi Order. She could have had her own animated series on the Siege of Mandalore. But it would have to be away from the Jedi, and away from the clone troopers, and away from Anakin. Shot down in flames, welcome. Overindulgence shows a lack of creativity, especially when you referenced it to Ahsoka, if she becomes the focus of the Star Wars universe. There are lots of other characters in that galaxy. Well, not only that, every character has their own story. So if you want to talk about realism, you know how people in Hollywood are so harping on us, like, we have to make this as realistic as possible. Well, you know what? You're certainly not doing that with Ahsoka. In a real life scenario, people branch out and they go off and do their own thing. So maybe she does have a really compelling arc. If you've seen my video, I actually got, when I was thinking about it, I was really excited about this idea of her saying yes to Darth Maul and them teaming up, and her trying to find ways to prevent Maul from seeking vengeance on Obi-Wan while maintaining the light side of the Force, while preventing his chaos and destruction, while working with him to defeating Darth Sidious. Now, ultimately, I don't think Maul or Ahsoka, even as a team, could defeat Emperor Palpatine. That's just me. I guess I could be wrong, depending. But no, that was Anakin's role. That was Anakin's purpose, to defeating Palpatine once and for all. But the idea, the motive behind it is really cool. That would have been a great team up. She would understand the dark side and the ways of the dark side while trying to maintain the integrity of the light side, and understand the dark side to defeat the dark side. That's what the Jedi was lacking anyway. The Jedi were lacking understanding the dark side. That was definitely the case in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where the Jedi had become blind to the most powerful dark side Force user sitting in front of them, and they did not see. How cool would an arc like that with Ahsoka have been, where she actually, it's staying true to her character. She did leave the Jedi Order, and then she would work with a dark Force user. I think that would have been a great thing for Ahsoka. Not to insult anyone, but like someone who's really obsessed with their character. Now, I'm obsessed with my stories and characters, but they have their place and they have their story, and then they have their closure. Someone who's obsessed with a character and insists that their character are involved in everything. What does that sound like to you? It sounds like a soccer mom. I have to have my child in this play. I have to have my child in this basketball team, on this basketball team. I have to have my child taking 3 music lessons for 3 musical instruments. They have to have an art class. They have to have a cooking class. I mean, now speaking from a music teacher's perspective, please get your child focused on one thing. With Ahsoka Tano, please get her involved with one main story separate to the Jedi Order. One story. One. She's having all the bad guys. I'm sorry. I just totally clipped the audio. Are you guys okay? Oh, that's gonna sound brutal. What minute mark? 1 hour, 31 minutes and 35 seconds. I just totally ugh. But no, she has all the bad guys. That sounds like a soccer mom. No disrespect to soccer moms out there. But it's like I have to have my child in everything. It's like, well, do you want them to be good at one thing or mediocre at best in everything? I'm sorry for shouting at you guys. I hope that didn't sound rough. One of the criticisms, or a couple times people criticized me for thinking, oh, she wasn't supposed to have closure with her arc, that her arc was not supposed to close. I never said that in my video, by the way. The closure I'm talking about with Ahsoka should have been with Anakin Skywalker and the Jedi. She could have had her own story. And in fact, I think she did. Didn't she have a novel or something like that? She could have had her own story completely away from the Jedi. And I would have been fine with that. In fact, I would have wanted to see something like that. I would have wanted to see something compelling like that. But no, they really had to have her with Anakin and with the Jedi and now with Luke Skywalker, apparently. And it's sad. And guys, I'm not saying this because of Ahsoka Tano only. I'm saying this for the love of all good writing and characters. For any character. Let this apply to any character you love or you're producing as a writer. The problem with oversaturating your characters into different stories is you might be missing a more powerful, more compelling arc for that character, something more meaningful.